Okay, welcome to the Monday Vid Conference, and we are excited to be here today, actually. And it is the 9th of September. So we are through the month of August, we're into September. And traditionally in September, we have the Studio Owner of the Year and Rookie of the Year and Studio Store of the Year on. We kind of pace that out throughout the month and into October. So I'm really, really excited to have Wendell Timothy here from Birmingham, Alabama, our studio owner of the year. Wendell, how's it going today?
It's going great. It's a good day to be alive.
It is, isn't it? I love that shirt. We have almost matching shirts on. Is that actually a blue shirt? It looks great.
It's almost it's a black shirt, but it's kind of a lighter black. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. Well, so this is our weekly Vid conference for all studio owners, and it's a pleasure to have you on. So, you were on, was it 2 years ago you were on as our rookie of the year?
That's correct.
Yeah. So hopefully my interview skills have gotten a little bit better since then. Um, well, we always start out by asking you to kind of introduce yourself. We do have new owners on today's vid conference, and then Wendell, if you could just maybe for all of us recount your journey to home video studio, and then we're eventually going to build up to studio owner of the year and the getaway, and of course how you run the business and how it's going for you. But um, kind of tell us your story if you wouldn't mind sharing with us today.
Sure. I don't mind at all. Some of the veterans have heard this a couple times already, and those who did at the getaway, you heard a little snippet of it. But for the new ones, I'm glad to share it again. Again, my name's Wendell Timothy, and I own and operate home video studio in Birmingham, Alabama. I onboarded on March of 2021, so kind of right in the kind of the tail end of the pandemic. Prior to that, I had a 24-year sales career with one company and leading consumer packaged good company, and did that from college all the way through 2019, and thought that I'd end up retiring. I had 6 more years before I would qualify for full retirement. But fortunately, in 2019, the end of 2019, December actually, they went through a corporate restructure, and I was told that my employment wasn't needed any longer. And then right after that, like a week later, I went for my physical, and I received my diagnosis of prostate cancer. So I had a lot to deal with in a short amount of time. And I just decided that I was gonna relax for a little bit, go through my treatments as obviously my surgery, and then see where what did I decide to do after that. And around the time, maybe a couple 4 or 5 months after I had my surgery and my treatments, I started to look back into some other sales positions, some opportunities. And I felt that with my 24 years of experience, that it would be relatively easy to find another job, and put out a couple resumes, and then just did a complete 180 and decided that I didn't want to put myself in a position where I was dependent on a company to for my income. And so over the course of 20 plus years, I'd always been involved with audio visual and just videography. I started out, my first experience was doing video recording a wedding for a colleague. And over those years, I've also worked extensively with churches, running particularly the soundboard, but also doing the visual and video part of it. And just decided this is something that I really enjoy doing. I was very passionate about it. And I just recall coming across years ago, before I started my sales journey, an ad from Home Video Studio, and it was back then. I think it may have been in Video Maker magazine, and I still had stacks of those magazines from years ago. And coincidence or not, I came across an online ad that Robert sent out, and I remembered the name, I remembered the logo, and decided to reach out. And I got on a Zoom and Tell, and the rest is history.
And I remember that Zoom and Tell because that was one of our first Zoom and Tells. We started doing those during COVID. So
Mhm.
yeah. And so you heard about us in Video Maker magazine, and then you saw a digital ad. Because I want to talk a little bit later on how you market your studio. It's always interesting because, we run an ad or something and we think that's going to be what really brings in our clients, and it is, but a lot of times it's a kind of accumulation of things, so we will touch on how you market the studio. All right, so yeah, you came on board with Home Video Studio. What was your first year like? I would say your rookie year.
Yeah, first year was obviously it was very exciting. I was really excited about the opportunity and getting started. I remember either texting or emailing you frequently saying, "Hey, when's my desk coming?" And back down because of COVID, there were a lot of shipping delays, especially on the West Coast. So things were delayed a lot. But I know I just brought up my 6 foot table, and you had already sent me lots of equipment like the scanner and the DVA. So I got that set up, and then Chris came down to do my install. And so we set up on the white table, and I was, got things running. So, and then getting the website, that was a really good benefit as well. So I said, okay, I'm really legit right now. So let's get out and start rolling. And so calls came in pretty immediately from turning on the website and becoming official. Calls, I want to say a lot of calls came in, but consistent calls every day, every week. Um, got my first customer maybe a week after going live with the business, and just continue to chug away, took all the tidbits and all the advice that you had given and that all the studio owners had given over those next few months on our Monday calls. And obviously running a business was completely new to me, so I was really ready to embrace all the advice that everybody gave. And I didn't really had no significant expectations in the first year, just to continue to work hard, do the work, and just make sure that my name was out there. I did take a look at the local competition, and in my market, it really was just one major competitor who had has a retail storefront and had been around for years. So I knew right away what I needed to do to get my name out there and get a little bit inch closer and closer to them so that I could be competitive with them.
What about
Go ahead.
what did your wife think about when you started this? Because I remember she was on the Zoom and Tell,
Yes.
but she didn't stay on that long. She was on like maybe 20 minutes, and it seemed to me like she gave you the high sign, like these guys are okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. She was okay with it from the very first time I mentioned, even before she got on the Zoom and Tell, and I told her about the opportunity. She knew that it was something for me that I was very passionate about. All I do, not all I do, now that I have a younger daughter, that I don't just talk tech all the time, but before that, it was all just technology and computers, and everybody knows me for that. And so I'd share those things with her. So she knew right away that this opportunity was something that was just a perfect marriage.
And we talk about the lifestyle, the life work balance, because you have a family, you do a lot of still work for your church. What's your secret in balancing running the business from home and then the work you do for the church and then your family.
You know what, Robert, this business opportunity was a gift from God, because obviously, leaving the sales career behind and having this opportunity, and not just this opportunity, but also the ability to work from home. It was the timing could not have been any better. Working from home, having my work, being able to work out the home allowed me to have the balance that I really needed. It allows me to, if I needed to go and pick up my daughter from school, get in the carpool line, allow me to do that. If she was sick or if it was holidays, being at home, we didn't have to get daycare because I was home and she could be here. So that was one of the benefits, to having this business, being able to not necessarily get a retail storefront, but have the opportunity to work at home and still be very successful with it.
Related to that question is then, and everybody always wants to know this, like what's the work day like for you on a day when you're going to be maybe totally working in the studio and then one where you're juggling back and forth, but how do you start out your day and how do you end it? What happens in the middle, beginning, middle, and end, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been fluid, but I'd say the first 3 years, I'm a morning person, so I'm up pretty early. I don't think as early as you, Robert, but I am up pretty early. And so my day starts probably around 6 o'clock, getting um, getting Kylie's breakfast and lunch ready for the day. And so that's probably up about 30 minutes. Then I would come down to the studio, turn on all the machines, look at my dashboard to see what pending orders or working orders that I have and what deadlines I had coming up. I'd also spend probably about 30 minutes back then in those first 3 years, really paying a lot of attention to my advertising and thinking about how I'm going to continue marketing myself. That led up until I was able to, take Kylie to school. Now, once I got back home, I continue on the advertising for another 30 minutes and then get started right to work probably about 8:30. My office hours are from 9 to 5:30. So that time leading up until the time I actually opened the doors for business was a great setup for the day to help me be successful for the day and for the week.
And so you can take Kylie to school and things like that
Yes.
and break away because you can really break away at any time during the day, but I know you like to keep regular hours. Um, well, so you came on board, you became Rookie of the Year, and you've always entered in the Hanley Awards quite you always have a lot of entries. And then this year, um, you had still quite a few entries into the Hanley. So I want to talk a little bit about this year and building up to that because this is now the completion of year three. Is that correct? 21, 22?
Yes, completion of year three. Absolutely.
Because different owners count it different ways. Some people count
Right.
it the day they signed or the day they got installed. And so I think this is getaway three for you, if I'm correct. Yeah.
One, two,
All right.
three, four. This was
Four.
the
Oh,
fourth one.
all
This
right.
was the fourth one, yes.
Well, next year you'll have your 5-year award, so that'll
All
be awesome. So
right.
we know you're going to be back up on that stage next year, and I'm excited because it's going to be our 25th getaway, and we're back in Clearwater again, so that's just a great place. Okay, so talk to us this year because what about this year at the getaway, what was it like for you? And obviously, you were good, I think, when you were pretty well versed in a few things when you started, especially audio. But this year, you seem to do really well um, at the Hanleys. Give us your impression of this year's getaway, as far as for you, and then what was it like to be at the Hanleys and win Studio Owner of the Year? Were you surprised? Were you thinking, "Oh, this could be my year"? Because you never know, right? What tell us your side of that story.
Sure. I'll start off with the experience with just the getaway in general. I was obviously glad to be there and to have my family there. It's probably the only time we really get away for an actual vacation, so they can have time to relax, and then I'll take a couple hours to spend with them. But as far as the experience, it was every year is a really good time just being there with the other studio owners and meeting the new ones. I remember when I first came on board and I was the only the new one. So it was, yeah, I wouldn't say it was awkward, but it was a little overwhelming. But also very inspirational to have everybody that has been there for before me, so that I could learn from them and see what's worked for them and just be inspired by them. Because honestly, just being a part of the Hanley Awards and watching the great work of all the studio owners, whether they won that award or just were nominated, I think everybody's a winner just because if you're able to have a video that's the worthy to send in, and you can learn from everybody's video, just different styles and techniques. So that in itself is a great experience. And the classes are always good. I come from my background has been with Final Cut Pro, so coming to home video studio family, I've had to learn the Adobe suite, and that's over the years it's been a little challenging for me just because I haven't used that. But every year I take back a little bit more and more to help me feel a lot more comfortable with it.
Well, let's talk about let's finish the Hanleys. So
Sure.
you're at the Hanleys. For people don't know, we have our own award show, our version of the Oscars. And what was it like? Because you won several Hanleys, and then we started talking about Studio Owner of the Year. What was it like to hear your name called?
So to hear my name called for Studio Owner of the Year was a complete shock. I wasn't expecting it at all. I just felt that I needed to, be a part of the community for at least 5 or 6 years. So it was a complete surprise to hear my name. I was honored and humbled, but completely surprised. Wasn't expecting it at all, but I was very extremely happy to get it.
Yeah, sometimes it happens like that. We've had several owners that became joined and were rookie, and then studio owner of the year the next year. So it took you 4 years or three and a half or whatever. Um, all right. So favorite profit center. Favorite what do you love to do in your studio? What's maybe your top two or three?
Well, I think everybody knows video production is my top one, just because that's where most of my experiences or was, and I just enjoy it a lot. So that's not my most profitable. It's not the one that I get a lot of jobs on, but when I do get them, when they do come across, I enjoy them immensely. But I really am finding my niche in the transfer business, and as the years have gone by and as the months have gone by, as I've gotten more jobs in, um, I'm really getting into a groove. And as I tell anybody that's asked me about this, my experience every year is significantly better than the previous year. So for any new business owner, whether it's home video studio or anything, I always say the first year is definitely the hardest, but if you stick to your guns, stick to your principles, stick to your work ethic, that every year will be better than the previous year. And it's just um, the fruits of your labor will bear eventually as long as you stay consistent.
And what are you, thank you very much for that, because I think it's important to have patience in your business, right? And
Yes.
you hit milestones as you have done. What is your, well, what are you shooting on right now when you do your production? I'm curious.
As far as equipment,
Yeah, as far as capture camera.
yeah, sure. So I've always been a fan. I started out, well, I'll go back. Prior to joining Home Video Studio, um, my equipment of choice was Canon. I used Cameron DSLRs and then Canon video cameras. But since then, and with my involvement in the several churches that I work with and work at, um, I've embraced the Black Magic design technology. So not only the switchers, but Black Magic Studio cameras, the pocket cinema cameras, and they just kind of work really well with my workflow. Just having the consistency of the technology, whether it's the switchers, the cameras, the encoders, the adapters. That's just become one that I'm really have embraced.
Um, and that makes me think, you won, how many Hanleys did you win this year?
This this past year, four.
Four. And didn't
Well,
you
actually,
win?
technically three, and then the studio of the year.
Okay, three. That's good. What about didn't you win best of AI? Was that you that won that? Or
Yes, best use of AI, correct.
so
Hmm.
that's pretty cool because that's a brand new category and you won it the first year. Something you'll always remember. Well, let's see if we have any questions from a studio owner land. Any studio owners have a question for Wendell or a comment?
I don't have a question, but just congratulations. I think you're really inspiring. Your story is inspiring, and also just your ability to embrace this business after everything you went through. And it's great to see you so successful. And I enjoy watching your work.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. That was Cheryl Kennedy.
Hey, I got a question, Wendell. What would you recommend for marketing that has been the most successful for you?
That's a very good question, and I'll tell you my challenges with marketing and also advertising. But you asked about marketing. Um, I'll speak about advertising first, and then I'll transition to marketing. So advertising, you know, I went through, followed the handbook to a T and listened to Robert and all the studio owners, especially when we went over the topics of advertising and marketing. And I spent a significant amount of money in the early years. Well, I'll say the early years. I've only been 3.5 years, but the early years, the first 2 years, really, especially with Google ads. And what's really helped a lot for me, that's helped me a lot because like I mentioned earlier about I have one major competitor in the market that has been in business for at least 15 plus years, have a large retail storefront, big footprint in the Birmingham market. So one of the things one of my goals was um, to do everything that I could so that when people did a Google search, and because of the infrastructure that Robert already had with the website, I wanted to make sure that I was in the first page of searches within 12 to 18 months of me joining. And that happened. It took some time, but it did happen. And I'm really proud to say that because of the advertising I did and the marketing, and I'll talk about the marketing I did, that now when someone does a search in my market, I'm the number one listing that's shown, and that's after cutting back on my advertising dollars. I'm not spending nearly as much as I was in the beginning, but I'm really proud to say that a majority of the people that do, well, anybody that does a search, Home Video Studio Birmingham is the first company that's listed. And in addition to that, I have more reviews than that competitor that's been in the market, been here for 15 years. So that's really helped my clients choose me over them, is the number of reviews, and all of the reviews are 5-star reviews, so that's another plus. And then being the number one listed company when someone does that search. Transitioning to marketing, I did do the I didn't do the Chamber of Commerce, but I did do the BNC for about a year and a half, and the results were so-so. My plan is to join the Chamber of Commerce this year, but as far as marketing, I've embraced what Robert has always said about going to local companies in the area. I'll go to the local Office Depot, the Staples, the post office, electronic stores, Best Buy, and ask them, hey, you have customers that come by that looking for this type of business, and I'll leave my card. And I routinely do that. I don't do it every week, but at least once a month, I'm stopping somewhere to have a 5 to 10 minute conversation and getting my name and business out there.
The 2 business card system. Yes, that still works well. I'm glad you're doing that. All right. So, anybody else out in studio owner land?
Yes, I have something. I came on kind of late. Did Wendell? Hey, congratulations, Wendell.
Thank you.
Did he mention that he's also an author?
I did not.
Let's make sure I mention that to everybody. This is a great, great book. Everyone needs to read it.
Thank you so much. I didn't even know you bought it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I don't think I have a copy of it either. How do we get a copy of your book?
Yeah, so it's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and what's the other one? Can't remember right now, but those 2 you can find it.
Okay.
It's called Putting the Pieces Together, and it pretty much documents the 38 days that I went in, 38 days journal of getting my cancer treatments. So I just wrote a journal every day that I went, talk about my experience, my conversations with the other men that were there that morning, and just how to overcome obstacles.
Hey, Wendell, congratulations, man.
Thank you,
Very
brother.
happy to see your success. Being in, how much did church production help you in this business? Like what you learned in church production, applying it to a business setting?
Yes, great question. It helped me out tremendously, because a lot of the work that I did and then do with the churches was all around video editing. I was responsible for doing the weekly announcements, so that's helped me a lot. That gave me a lot of hands-on experience with Final Cut Pro and with Adobe Premiere Pro. So that coming in, that's not an area that I really need to put a lot of my attention in. So that was one of my strengths, so that I could really focus more on the video transfers. And the video production was also something that I was able to get a really good head start with because of my church background. I was the churches down here, some of them, they have collectively they have huge conferences where all the churches would get together in a major convention site, or a huge hotel ballroom. And because I had a company at the time called TMT Productions, so I was able to provide sound systems for the room, cameras, switcher, large screens, and be able to provide a full service for those churches or a few businesses that I did that as well. So coming in, I was already able to do that and benefit with that under the home video studio umbrella. So
going to church is good for your business then.
Oh, absolutely, yes, very good. And one of the churches that I work at, they have on their website, they have a page for the members to put their businesses on. So I get free advertising on there.
We do get a lot of interest from people that have started out in their church. Miguel, you were obviously one of them, and I think a few others as well. Okay, anybody else have a question? If not, I've got one more question for Wendell, but comments or questions? We're all so proud of you, Wendell. You really represent Home Video Studio very well, and you're a big help to us. So my question is now, what's your goals for the next 12 months? What are you focusing on? And are you still doing production for other, are you still looking for production work, stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah. So I am still looking for production work, and that's where me personally, I need to step up both advertising and marketing to get my name out there. And I have to really find the balance that allows me to do that as much as I'd like to. Goals for the year, I'd like to double my sales from last year. And I just need to get back into a system. I just kind of, I honestly, I've slacked off a little bit as far as my routine in the mornings of just being persistent and intentional about how I'm going to advertise and particularly, especially market myself. And I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do, and I just need to get back to doing that. I've had a nice hour-long conversation with OptiHive right after the getaway. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be working on, especially with my email campaigns. But the goal is to double my sales volume from last year. And also, that's my 12-year. My 3-year goal is to increase the business significantly enough that I can open up a retail storefront.
Oh, that would be great. That would be awesome. Then you could be back up on the stage for Studio Store of the Year. All right. Well, gosh, thanks for being here today as our guest. And I'll be getting with Michael Harris and Craig Peterson about being on the Monday Vid Conference in September or early October. Wendell, anything else you want to add?
No, the only other thing that I would add, I think my the sales experience has been my sales experience has been a benefit to me because I've used that to my advantage when a customer comes in, and I think at least for me, I don't think it applies to everyone that works out of their home, but I think for me, well, no, I will say you have to prove yourself a little bit more working out of the home than someone that works at a storefront. So my sales experience, my ability to connect with customers has helped tremendously, and especially in selling in DVA. I know that's where we really want to get more of our customers to, less from DVDs and less from flash drives into DVA. So I've really try to connect with my customers and sell them in on the features and benefits of DVA, and that's allowed me to be as successful as I have been with my number of conversions.
Well, I like to hear that. You know that. So that's great. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll be back 1 week from today. And I thank everybody for being here today. And Wendell, thanks a lot for being our guest. We appreciate it. And good luck in the next 12 months
Thank you
and
so
beyond.
much.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. That's a wrap, as we say.
All right, goodbye.